Jennifer, I know for folks at home, it's difficult to follow all these developments as the January 6th committee proceeds because there seems seemingly every day that there's a discovery about efforts taken to overturn the 2020 election. Let's zero in on this idea that it got so serious, an executive order drawn up, not just for the DOD that we knew about, but for DHS, and efforts by the former Trump White House to get that done, right? To tell us the legal significance of that.
Well, Jim, it really depends on what the draft executive order was meant to do. You know, it could be an overt act in a conspiracy charge, ultimately. That's when you take a step towards the completion of the conspiracy that the co-conspirators agreed about. You know, we don't know who drafted it. Was it drafted at the direction of the former president or someone else in his inner circle? Was it instead drafted by a lower level person as part of just, let's have a discussion about this? These are the facts that they need to investigate and learn about before the significance of the draft executive order really comes clear. But it's certainly a huge development. Anytime someone puts pen to paper, you know it's something that they're at least talking about.
And Jennifer, what's perhaps the most damning out of this reporting is it directly links it to the president, the former president of the United States. And I want to quote from the New York Times here, where he told his lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, to call DHS. President Donald J. Trump directed his attorney, Rudy Giuliani, to make a remarkable call. Mr. Trump wanted him to ask the Department of Homeland Security if it could legally take control of voting machines in key swing states. What does this say about the former president's direct involvement here? And how is that impacted by the DOJ's current probe now?
Well, what's so interesting, Bianna, is that, of course, folks who have been watching this develop, it's common sense that this was directed by the former president. He's the one who's been talking about this. He's the one who seemingly has been pushing it. But that's different from saying there's actually evidence that you could bring into a courtroom to prove that he was directing this scheme. So now we're actually starting to hear about what might be evidence of that. So that's what's so crucial. What's also really interesting to me is if the reporting is correct, this is the first time that Rudy Giuliani seems to maybe be breaking from the former president and pointing the finger at him. If Rudy Giuliani now is going to come clean about what happened and tell us about those conversations, that would be a huge break in this investigation.
That's really remarkable to note, Jennifer. Another question here, right, is the president's personal involvement in pressuring Pence to overturn the election results. I mean, he talks about it publicly all the time right now, what Pence should have done. But in those moments there, so far Pence has not testified, but Mark Short, his chief of staff, has. You've noted that the committee needs evidence on those interactions between Trump and Pence on getting Pence to overturn the results as vice president. Would Short's testimony without Pence's be enough to do that?
Yes, if he was there. I mean, you need to have personal knowledge. So if he was in the room and he can testify about what the former president said in this regard to Mike Pence about what he should do, that's just as good as Mike Pence saying it himself. Absolutely.
What does this say to you, Jennifer, about how the committee has gone about their actions here and piecing together the pieces behind the insurrection and being so public about it, whether it's directly from them or all of this the trove of reporting that we've had over the past few weeks? From a legal perspective, what does that tell you about the direction that this investigation is headed in?
I think they've been really smart about it, Bianna. I mean, I thought they started off a little slowly, but they've really been gathering steam. I think they've been letting enough out into the public eye so that they're starting to educate all of us about where this is headed, what their ultimate report is likely to look like. And of course, what we don't know is what criminal referrals they might make to DOJ and what DOJ might be doing on its own. But we do know that we're going to learn a lot more about what happened after the election, leading up to January 6th, and even after that. So I think they've been very smart about the way that they've done this, and I'm really looking forward to what they continue to dig up.